Right, and we are live. Thank you guys. Hey, we are back for Author Chat. It is 2021. This is our first show of the year, and I am so excited to say that we have filled up almost every single month. We are booking for May now. So if you have a favorite author that you would like to see come on the show, please give them my information or tweet out to them or Instagram or whatever, and we'll see if we can get them on here. So tonight we have two authors, Lynn Rush and Kelly Ann. Is it Blount?
Blount. Rhymes with count. Blount.
Blount. Okay. Yeah, it's like I realized halfway through doing posts and stuff that I forgot the N in your last name, and I'm like, wait, oh crap. So went and changed it, went and fixed everything. Oh, it's so horrible. It's like reading two books back to back. When I did the post for this one, I changed the guy's last, or yeah, the guy's last, the guy's first name. I'm like, oh, that's not right.
Right. I'm
like that.
It's okay.
Oh, so bad.
We all go a little. What is it? The line? We all go a little mad sometimes, or whatever.
Right.
You know.
So their book is in the penalty box. It features hockey and ice and figure skating, and it was amazing. And I love this book, and it was so good. Like, I am so excited that Entangled Teen sent this to me because this is mine now, and it's going to go on my shelf, and it's never leaving. And I need more. I need more. I need more. There needs to be a follow-up to this book. Like, seriously. I need more. I need more now.
True. Just
kidding. I need more. So I always like to start out the show with tell us a little bit about who you are and your books, because you both publish independently as well, correct? Because I know, Kelly, you're coming back on later this month, I think, or next month. This month?
No,
this
I think it's in 2 weeks.
This month. Is it? I think it's this month, yeah.
Wait, 2 weeks. No, yes. Soon.
It's somewhere in there. Soon. So then tell us about you and your titles.
Okay, well, I'm here out in the desert, Phoenix, Arizona, and my name's Lynn Rush, and I've got a few books. You can kind of see them in the background there. I've been writing for a while, and some of it is also with Entangled. Let's see, I have a few as Reese Monroe, another author name of mine, with their new adult category, but mostly I write YA and some middle grade. I've got about 6 books out there right now, and then this one, and then Kelly and I are going to have quite a few more over the next year or two, which I can't wait to tell you guys more about later. But I'm mostly fantasy, urban fantasy, paranormal romance, genetically modified humans who happen to freeze things that they touch or look at or wave at. So this is my first jump into contemporary, and I'm super thankful that Kelly asked me to take this jump with her because it's been fun. It's different. You know, I first asked her, hey, can my character be a vampire? She's like, no. And it worked out better that Brodie's not a vampire, right?
I mean, I guess it would be like a super good twist, right? If he like turned his whole team into vampires and like, you know, that's how they like succeeded, and you know,
that'd be funny.
It would be a different book though.
Vampires are making a comeback though.
Yeah.
That would have definitely been interesting.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kelly.
I'm Kelly Ann Blount, and I'm in Asheville, North Carolina, and I have been writing for a little, I guess. I guess I'm like coming up on almost 10 years, which is exciting.
Oh, wow.
My first book was a YA paranormal with a little fantasy as well, which I really enjoy writing. However, I got into contemporary and I was having like a really good time writing, and my agent sold I Hate You, Fuller James to Entangled, and it came out in March, which was super fun. And it's just like a really sweet book, light, but with a lot of heart, and, you know, tackle some serious situations. And so I was really excited to get to write another book like that with Lynn. And we had a blast writing in the penalty box. There is a standalone sequel spinoff coming out, I believe, next year. So that'll be really exciting. And then, yeah, we have another series coming out that's 12 books. It's with Entangled, and it's a reimagining of Sweet Valley High meets Gossip Girl. So we are super pumped about that. We've written 4 of the books and are in various stages of edits. So we cannot wait to share that with you all, because these characters, ooh, they're good. They're really good.
Like Corey Chaos, how could they not be awesome?
True.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we have some people stuck in the chat over here. Hey guys, of course, as always, if you have a question, you can toss it in the live chat below. For some reason, YouTube isn't allowing you to do that. You can tweet it out to me or post it on Instagram, and I will find it. Just make sure that you tag me. Let's see. It says a Twilight themed figure skating routine hockey mashup with real vampire Brodie would have been really fun. Yeah, I think that would have been way epic.
Oh,
We
leave
love
it to Chelsea to say that, right?
Yeah, I know. Chelsea loves vampires. Hey, Kay Wilder. Hello. Hey, Allie. Yeah, I mean, maybe we should just write like a short story for like Halloween or something. Maybe share it on like Wattpad.
We should. We totally should.
That would be so cool. Like an alternate reality where they're like, I don't know, Willow's a witch, and that's very Buffy right there, you know, because Willow.
Fill my heart.
And Brodie's a vampire. That would be kind of interesting to read a little short story about that.
We'll make it happen.
That would be so cool.
Challenge accepted.
We'll have to do it.
Right, so let's see. The first question is, do either of you have backgrounds in hockey or figure skating?
Go ahead.
I did figure skate for a while. I was nowhere near Willow by any means possible. But it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. Jumping, was so fun, and spinning around. And I tried to spin around like a couple years ago, and I got dizzy. I was like, whoa, this is not for adults apparently. But no, it was a really fun time. Both Lynn and I are pretty athletic, and we're super into sports growing up. And, we both played tennis, and I played softball and soccer, and I don't know, every pretty much sport you can imagine I probably was in at some point. So, yeah, I really, really enjoy it. Hockey wise, I, saw a lot of hockey before and after figure skating practice, but also growing up in Wisconsin, hockey is everywhere. My best friend's little brother played hockey, so we would go places for the weekend for tournaments, and we spent a lot of time at the hockey rink. So it's always a sport that I've loved, but have never played.
This kind of really reminds me of a movie that I think it was out back in, I think, the 80s and the 90s, called Cutting Edge. But it goes the opposite direction, where the guy ends up being wiped out from hockey and he can't do it anymore. So he ends up having to go to couples figure skating. And I'm like, that's like the first thing that popped into my head when I started reading. I was like, hey, I know this.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like very nostalgic.
Yes, it's definitely a YA Cutting Edge meets Friday Night Lights kind of book. So yeah,
definitely.
Guys, this book, if you haven't read it, like seriously, as soon as I started this book today, I read this in 5 hours. I was cracking up through most of the book. Like, it starts out with Willow on the ice, and she accidentally runs in to see, I'm going to screw up his name again, to Brodie, and he knocks her down, and he goes to help her up, and she just knees him in the crotch. And I'm just like, oh my God, that would be totally something that I would end up doing with somebody helping me up off the ice. I've tried to go ice skating before when I lived in Ohio. It was not pretty.
We're here for some good physical comedy. It's just
great.
It always makes people laugh. And it's just such a like teen thing, right? Like, especially like teen guys, right? They're always doing stuff like that, maybe on purpose. But it was so funny that Willow like meets Brodie in this like epic failure of a, like meet cute, but it ends up being really sweet.
think that this was just, it's a great escape book for, our time right now, that the romance is just, it's a very light, even though that there's heavier topics that are dealt with within the book, but it's just, it was so good. Goodness.
Thank you.
So of course
about it. It was so great today.
Love it. So, writing a book with two authors is hard, especially, you guys aren't in the same state. So, how did you guys meet each other and decide to write this book?
Lynn, you go.
Well, we met because we share an agent. Our co-agent is Nicole from Seymour Agency. And then really you introduced yourself to the loop. The agents have like a loop for their authors. And so we chat and she's like, hey, I'm new here. And I'm all like, hey. And then we just kind of started talking and then started doing critiques for each other on our works and our stories and chatting. And we're like, dang, we work pretty well together. Kind of have the same writing style, write pretty quickly, write a lot of books and can get things done. And gosh, she just all of a sudden said, hey, we should write a book. And then Kelly can finish.
So yeah, I was like, let's do this. You want to write a book? And she was like, sure. And I was like, oh, okay. So we started brainstorming and we created Google Docs with our character descriptions. We've since moved to this really cool world building spreadsheet where we have all of our characters listed, all of their features, as far as like how tall they are, what color their eyes are, who their parents are, where they live, what their house looks like, what they say, like a frequent saying of theirs. So we had our characters mapped out pretty well, and we wrote relatively quickly. They came in at like 100,000 words. We were like, oh, that is a long. So our agents read it and they helped us edit it down a little bit. We made some changes with our characters, and it's funny because it went from 100,000 words to 89,000 words, and then Entangled bought the book, and then we got our edit letter and we changed things around a little bit, and then we dropped to like 80,000 words.
Right.
And then we bumped it back up as we were doing edits to 100,000 words. And then we settled at 90, I think, in the end, 90,000 words. But it was, it was a really fun process. And we are a lot alike and just like tend to get through things really quickly and, just had a blast writing together. So we're going to keep on doing it.
For 13 more books. Woo!
Well, it was a perfect length. It keeps going. It's not stagnant. It works. So you said you were doing a follow-up standalone story to this book. Can you tell us who the two characters, or is it still going to be like the dual point of view two character thing, or?
Well, we can't tell you much other than yes. For Penalty Box, I wrote Brodie. I was the male point of view, and Kelly was, the female point of view. And we're carrying that over into the next book. And it is a side character from in the Penalty Box that we think that you'll love to hear about. Not sure when we can announce who or what or anything other than it's written, it's to the editors, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
so excited.
We've got a new character we'll be bringing in without giving too much away, but she definitely adds a fresh face to the group, and it's really interesting to see her join the cast, we'll say.
Let's see. It says that they're losing connection.
Oh.
Let's
Uh-oh.
see.
I see you guys.
I can just see everybody.
Gotta love technology, right?
Oh yeah, and it's like everybody's on it, so now the internet is crap.
Right.
I really like how these books are written like this, because when you have like a good set of characters like this, it's so easy to kind of like, grab two characters, bring somebody else in, and then do another story. And I really like this because then you tend to like, everybody gets their happily ever after and gets paired off, and they're really sweet and they're adorable. So, it's fine. You can just do everybody down the road, I won't say no to that.
We have had a lot of requests for packs to have a book, and we won't confirm or deny if that has happened or will happen, but I just think a character like Pax would be really fun to feature in a book.
Yeah.
I think that would be really, really nice because with everything that's going on in his life and stuff, he needs a happily ever after.
Yeah,
he does, or at least a happily for now, right? I mean,
right.
Bless him.
So Willow and Brodie, of course, were so adorable. How did you go about creating their personalities and their lives?
Woo. Gosh, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Kelly, but I don't know that we totally completely mapped them out a lot. I mean, other than what I remember is, okay, he's a star, he's good, and he's going to feel threatened by somebody coming in. And then I love giving people complicated backgrounds, like sometimes devastating. And I would consider his a little devastating. But even more, some of the future characters, the guys I've written are even way more. And I just love that because it's got such a great like redemption story and coming back from some pretty big darkness. So I think we had kind of a base, if I remember correctly, for my character. And then and with all of my books that I've written, whether they're published or not, my characters tend to change as I write the story. They kind of evolve and develop, and and then we add Kelly's style in. I'm like, ooh, and then we bounce off each other and say, hey, might be kind of cool if Brodie did this, or what if we did this to Brodie? And so there was a lot of fun little interchanges with the development. How about you, Cal?
Yeah, I mean, I think we had, like you said, like a good base. We knew a lot about them, like detail wise, but or I say detail wise, like physical and some of those, but we definitely were flexible with them, and we kind of wanted to make sure opposites attract, right? It does happen, but we didn't want to make them necessarily like polar opposites, or it just, as we were writing, they kind of just fit into this nice groove with each other, and they really like bounced off like banter wise with each other, which we really liked. And I remember that was one of the things our editor really liked and was like, more banter, this is awesome. Yes. So we added more banter in for sure. But yeah, we definitely knew, Willow would be going through a lot with a really devastating injury. And so that brings a lot of trauma and pain, but she also has, some other painful things that have happened. And they definitely had some connection over that. And there was a lot of growth and,
right.
and healing.
Oh goodness. See, I was just thinking about something and then it completely just pooped out of my head. Oh, I really loved how you guys like interweaved like him quizzing her and stuff. Because I mean, for people that aren't really interested in figure skating or the hockey thing, this is still a great book that they can read because it's a great, wonderful romance and it's so adorable. So like, even if you guys don't care anything about hockey or figure skating, it's so good. It does not bog the story down at all. Like a lot of other titles do, that you just kind of like, why do I care about this? This doesn't work that way. This is just a great book.
Cool.
Thank you. Yeah,
we're
both like, like we said, athletes. And it really, when we were writing this and when I was writing I Hate You, Flora James, it just brought back a lot of those like high school, nostalgic, like high school sport feelings, like going to the football game on a Friday night and like painting our cheeks and, like all of that. And so it was really fun writing it because I feel like a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people in high school, remember either playing a sport or like going to a game and cheering their team on. So that was really fun.
That was.
So much research did you have to do to dealing with, all the hockey terms and and then her going back to being a figure skater and all of that.
There was definitely some research involved, internet, talking to people. And again, you know, I don't know if I mentioned this yet or not, but I was into speed skating, and it wasn't ice, it was the inline speed skating. And so kind of some of how to skate and the power behind it and stuff like that. And then my husband's a physical therapist, so we could pick his brain about, you know, hey, what would it look like if, you know, what would prevent a skater from going back? Like, how long is rehab? So a lot of research. It came from a lot of different venues, don't you think, Kelly?
Yeah, and I think one of our most helpful assets, or you know, I'm trying to think, not who like we reached out to were former hockey players, or, you know, they play hockey now, not professionally, but just for fun. But, you know, I reached out to a lot of guys that played hockey in my high school and was like, hey guys, can you read this and let us know if we've like completely like goofed any of these scenes up. And it was interesting because they all provided like really awesome feedback. And, you know, there were just like a few terms where they're like, well, like, you know, if you're being very like formal about it, yes, you would use this term. But like when you're on the ice, like this is what you're going to say. And we're like, oh, good call. So we really did try to make it as authentic as possible. And even our last, I think it was like our very last set of feedback we got on our like past edits. We have, I have a friend who lives in Canada named Rob Shapiro, and he read it for us one last time. Just to be like, okay, like tweak this, do that, you know. So we wanted to make sure you know, after we had gone through all of the edits and everything, that we were still completely authentic, or as authentic as we could be. So that was really, really helpful. And we, you know, gave a lot of shout outs in our acknowledgements to those amazing people.
Yes.
Because we really.
That's so cool. So what was your favorite book of last year, and what have you been reading this year?
I liked Kelly's book last year. I did, of course.
You win the internet.
Of course. I mean, I have to say that one for sure because it was awesome. I helped with that and I loved it. And it was so fun and I loved the characters. And yeah, so I definitely say that one. And then I'm reading A.K. Wilder. She was our release buddy. Her book went out to you. I think you're reading it or you have it or something. But I tell you, I'm like almost done with that one and it's pretty awesome. I also read Glimpsed. This came out on our release day as well. Awesome for this year.
A.K. Wilder's actually coming on the show, so I'm excited to read that one.
Woohoo!
Great book. Yeah. Oh, and you know, I'm not a huge fantasy, like high fantasy, like I'm more urban, but yeah, this is sucking me in pretty good. It's good.
Woohoo! Ooh, so I think last year for me, I really like this manuscript I read that isn't out yet about a concussion. And you know, it's pretty great, but I won't spoil anything, but it may have been written by someone in this live event named Lynn. So that was amazing. I also really enjoyed Crave by Tracy Wolf.
Oh, Crave was so good.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I'm hoping to get her on the show later this year.
Ooh.
It's like,
it's an awesome person.
Here's my soul. Come on the show.
Well, we will put in a good word for you because Tracy is amazing. She is so sweet. She is one heck of a writer. Oh my gosh. I had so many Twilight feels and it was just, you know, it was amazing. I'm trying to think of this year. I mean, it just kind of started. I have a few books on Audible right now that I'm listening to. But I'll probably have to get back to you with with a read, I feel like January's just been kind of a blur. So yeah, I did
so
read Little
crazy.
Monsters by Kara Thomas. Have you read that one?
No, I haven't. It's one of my TBR totes. It looks really good.
It's really good, but it is dark. But I read that or listened to it last year, so doesn't count.
Sure. Good.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on the show, and I cannot wait for the next book. Want it? I need it. I need it.
Having us, and we do have. Sorry for reaching in there. We do have a little giveaway. And
awesome.
We can leave it open. Maybe like a week be good, do you think? Like next?
Yeah, that should be fine.
Up until next Friday. So Lynn has, I think we both throw some
with. So
we have some Holy Puck in the penalty box laptop stickers, or they can go on your hydro flask or wherever you'd like.
Or your hydro flask.
And we do have some signed nameplates.
Woo!
So
see, I need one of those.
We'll send one your way. You just send us your address, and I actually have a few of these
gigantic thing that they sent.
Yes, we would love to give out like 5 of them.
Yep.
So maybe just leave a comment with your favorite read of 2020, maybe favorite read of 2021, something you enjoyed about the penalty box, just whatever. Just leave us a comment and we'll go through and pick some next week.
Yeah, awesome. Woohoo. Yay. Well, guys, that is all for tonight. Make sure to join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. Or no, 7 p.m. See, I'm getting the time screwed up. 7 p.m. for our next book, The Cup and the Prince by Day. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce her last name because I know I'm going to butcher it. But there's this.
Ooh, that's a pretty
so cool. Right. I love the graphic that I did. Has like the sword has like stuff going on it, which it worked out really well. I was excited. Cool. So thank you ladies so much for coming on. I'm definitely going to have to check out your books, Lynn, because I didn't know. I hadn't looked up what else you had written. So the fantasy stuff is like my top thing. And that's another thing, guys. Like, you guys know that I do not read a lot of contemporaries. I am totally hit and miss. This was amazing. I loved it. If you haven't read it, you need to. So go grab it.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for coming on. Have a great night. Bye, guys.
Bye.